From one Michigan boy to another? Is this possible for the Detroit Red Wings? Let's talk today about Columbus Blue Jackets' currently unsigned center Adam Fantilli, and an article posted on the Hockey News by Ryan Lambert earlier this week that discusses 3 NHL offer sheet candidates for Blue Jackets Fantilli. Man, oh man. This is the territory we are approaching in the 2026 offseason, isn't it? Goodness forbid if by the time this video gets up on YouTube, Adam Fantilli actually does sign a contract with Columbus, or he signs an offer sheet, whichever team even offers him one. But today we're diving into Fantilli and 3 teams that could be offer sheet candidates for him. Let's dive into the situation here first and foremost, because I do have to clarify at the beginning of this discussion, Adam Fantilli isn't technically a Michigan boy. So anybody who is looking at the Detroit Red Wings and saying, okay, well, they're the first team written about here on the article posted by Ryan Lambert, so could the Wings replace one Michigan guy with another? Technically, Adam Fantilli was born and raised in Ontario, and that was pretty evident from his passport, and also the fact that he grew up playing for the Toronto Junior Canadiens and the Toronto Red Wings. However, he did play his one and only NCAA season with the Michigan Wolverines, where he was so good, scored 65 points in 36 games played, super dominant, and was able to win the Hobey Baker as a freshman, one of the only players to ever do that. He's good, he's going to continue to get better, even though he only had 59 points in 82 games this most recent season. I say that like it's a bad thing. It's just not great compared to like Leo Carlson, who was a point per game, and Celebrini, who was literally a 100-point scorer now. Adam Fantilli could be on his way there as soon as this upcoming season. He'll be 22 by the time the season gets underway, but Fantilli, at the time of recording this audio, still remains unsigned. Connor Bedard got 15. Leo Carlson got 18. Macklin Celebrini got 18.8. So where does Fantilli lie in the grand scheme of young NHL centers who are getting money in this day and age? Let's head over to Ryan Lambert's article and read about Fantilli, how he remains unsigned as August stretches on. Are there any teams that could realistically sign him to an offer sheet or trade for him before the season begins? It hasn't been pleasant for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The reason is that few people seem excited about playing there. While Zach Werenski has at least somewhat recommitted to the team, Kirill Marchenko is still the subject of trade rumors, and most vexing, RFA Adam Fantilli remains unsigned. Let's go out there and read some of these teams that could target Fantilli via an offer sheet. The Detroit Red Wings have a pretty obvious problem of their own. Dylan Larkin, who has a full no-move clause. He seemingly does not want to play in Detroit either. They also have nearly $19.6 million in cap space. In theory, they could offer sheet Fantilli, who played his NCAA career at the University of Michigan, and then feel a lot more comfortable about trading Larkin for futures to replace the picks they just lost. Now, would Detroit, even with Fantilli in and Larkin out, be giving up multiple top picks in that deal and likely only receive back mid to late first-round picks and prospects? Probably, yeah, but in their mind, that might be better than massively losing a Dylan Larkin trade. If an offer sheet fails, Detroit and Columbus could loop in a third team, like Minnesota, to make the talent move and the money work better for everyone, since Larkin prefers to win now. That would be a pretty interesting idea as well. I mean, a triple team trade involving Larkin and maybe even Fantilli too? I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding what Lambert is talking about here, but if the Detroit Red Wings were to target somebody like Fantilli, he would essentially be what the Red Wings need wouldn't he be? A young center with a lot of upside heading into the next few years, who is only 21 years old? I mean, think about this. He's only 3 years younger than Lucas Raymond. Raymond was a 2020 draftee, Fantilli was 2023. Meanwhile, Dylan Larkin was 2014, so he's got a lot more years on Fantilli, Raymond, and even more at Seider. I'd say age-wise, Fantilli fits the bill a lot more for what the Red Wings want to build in the long term, and also what they could be building in the now. But let's go out there and read some of the other teams that Lambert writes about that could be a potential Fantilli offer sheet destination. The Seattle Kraken already threw major money at Jason Robertson in a trade proposal this summer, and they did so during the 25-26 season with Artemi Panarin too. Both of these players turned down the money. There were also rumors that they'd be interested in offer sheeting someone because they need to make a big splash. This Seattle team is another team that probably shouldn't be giving up 4 first-round picks, but with the threat of an NBA expansion team looming, their local relevance as a franchise might be on the line. An $18 million offer sheet would edge them right up against the salary cap limit, but the team might also have a trade solution to work on. The Kraken seemingly want to move on from Shane Wright. Would Wright plus picks and prospects be more attractive for Columbus than 4 firsts? Now that is a really interesting analysis of what is and what isn't in Seattle. Not only talking about the idea of offer sheeting Fantilli and potentially sending 4 firsts over there, but maybe even saying, hey, do you guys want to get Shane Wright and a bunch of other stuff while we take on Fantilli instead? The Seattle Kraken will have to battle with the local ties of some of the other sports teams in and to come in Seattle. And the Kraken, I mean, they haven't really been all too great the past little while. There's not much to cheer for with Seattle these days. And with Shane Wright's development stalling in the ways that it has, from 44 points to 27 points, at the ripe old age of 22 years old, obviously there is a lot more to be desired here too. But it is kind of funny just looking at what Seattle has tried to do to increase their relevance and to help them get better. They threw money at Robertson and Panarin, but both of these guys, like that big band in Jacksonville, they turned it down. They turned it down. Can Seattle retcon this? Can they get another young stud to commit himself to the Kraken? Can Adam Fantilli be that guy? Let's talk about the last team that is written about here that could be a Fantilli offer sheet destination. It's the Calgary Flames. The Flames do not have the cap space to blow Fantilli out of the water, but they do have some very movable guys who are at least a little overpaid, and it's tough to imagine that they can be competitive this season. But they've also said they want to be in playoff conversations when their new rink opens in fall of 2027. That's where Fantilli comes in. Right now, the Flames' top center in terms of ice time last season was Mikael Backlund, who wasn't close to being a number 1 center at his peak, and now he's 36 years old. Fantilli would fit in age-wise with what they're trying to build. The article says they likely don't have the war chest to entice the Blue Jackets into a trade. All of their best prospects are guys they would want to keep, and all their semi-expensive veterans don't really help Columbus get competitive anytime soon. All of this, of course, comes with the caveat that Columbus would almost certainly move heaven and earth to make the money work for Fantilli, so none of the above amounts to much for them. Much like Anaheim, they would easily and happily match any offer sheet while taking the full week to announce their decision. So, I guess that's the anticlimactic way to conclude an Adam Fantilli offer sheet discussion article, but the idea of the Flames going after this guy, it would make sense thematically with what the Flames have been doing. They just made a trade for Simon Nemec out of New Jersey, which is probably the biggest, okay, let's actually try to be competitive now type of deal that they've made in years. So maybe making a big swing offer sheet wise for Fantilli, that does fit the picture for what Calgary could do. But obviously the Kraken, the Flames, the Red Wings, these are 3 teams out of 31 other NHL teams that could be looking at Adam Fantilli and salivating. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Fantilli offer sheet, yay or nay. This article is going to be linked in the description if you want to go out there and read it yourself. Give Ryan Lambert some credit here. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.